Welcome to episode 247 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Law Sky. It's July 5, 1982. Barcelona. Tragedy of Sarrià. Italy against Brazil. Second group stage of the World Cup. And this is one of those matches where the table is simple, but the meaning is enormous. Brazil only need a draw. Italy have to win. Brazil are the beautiful team. Italy are the team that barely escaped the first group. Brazil have Zico, Sócrates, Falcão, Eder, Junior, Cerezo. Italy have Zoff, Gentile, Cerezo, Cabrini, Tardelli, Conti, and Paolo Rossi, who has not yet scored at this World Cup. But today, he scores a hat-trick. Paolo Rossi 3, Brazil 2, and one of the greatest teams never to win the World Cup is gone. But how did we get here? Start with Italy. Italy's World Cup history is massive. Champions in 1934 and 38, finalists again in 1970, still searching for a post-war title. But Italy also arrived in 1982 carrying scandal. In 1980, Totonero exploded into public view. Players arrested, clubs punished, Milan and Lazio relegated. Paolo Rossi banned for 3 years, then reduced to 2 on appeal. He denied wrongdoing, but the stain was real. When Enzo Bearzot selects Rossi for Spain, Italy argue with itself. Rossi has barely played. He looks rusty. He's not scoring. Italy's first group stage is grim. 0-0 with Poland, 1-1 with Peru, 1-1 with Cameroon. 3 draws, 3 points. Cameroon also have 3 draws. Italy survive only because they have scored 1 more goal. They're not loved. They're not trusted. But Bearzot trusts his group. Zoff, 40 years old, in goal. Cerezo and Gentile at the back. Cabrini on the left. Tardelli and Oriali. Bruno Conti for imagination. Antonioni for intelligence. Graziani and Rossi up front. Italy are still Italy, just waiting for a spark. Now Brazil. Brazil in 1982 are not defending champions. They're defending an idea. 1958, 62 and 70. 3 World Cups in 4 tournaments. Pelé, Garrincha, Didi, Vava, Jairzinho, Carlos Alberto. The yellow shirt had become joy, risk, rhythm, and authority. But after 1970, Brazil drifted. 1974 was harder, more physical, less beloved. 1978 was better, and Brazil beat Italy 2-1 in the third-place match in Buenos Aires, with Abraham Klein as referee, the same referee who will handle today's match. Zoff was still there then, and Italian critics were already questioning him after long-range goals. By 1982, Tele Santana gives Brazil back romance. Not nostalgia, but romance. Zico, Flamengo's genius. Sócrates, Corinthians doctor, captain and philosopher. Falcão, the Roma midfielder Italian fans know well. Eder, left-footed violence. Toninho Cerezo, Junior, Leandro, Oscar, Luisinho, and Valdir Perez. And Serginho, the center-forward who's not quite Careca, because Careca's injury before the tournament changes the balance of the team. Brazil qualifies smoothly. Then in Spain, they play like the tournament's main event. They beat the Soviet Union 2-1, Scotland 4-1, and New Zealand 4-0. Then, in the group stage, they beat Argentina 3-1. Italy also beat Argentina 2-1, but Brazil's win is bigger. So now, in this 3-team second-round group, Brazil only need a draw. Italy need to beat the most admired team in the world. This is also a rivalry. Italy beat Brazil in the 1938 World Cup semi-final on the way to the title. Brazil beat Italy 4-1 in the 1970 final, the day Pelé won his 3rd World Cup. Brazil beat Italy again in 1978. Even the Olympic sides had met in 1960. So this is not just beauty against pragmatism. It is Italy and Brazil again. A replay of the 1970 final in emotional weight, if not in tournament round. July 5, Sarrià. Attendance 44,000. Referee Abraham Klein of Israel. 5th minute. Antonio Cabrini crosses from the left. Paolo Rossi, silent all tournament, ghosted by scandal, doubted by his own country, arrives between Brazilian defenders. Header. Italy 1, Brazil 0. 7 minutes later, Brazil answer. Zico receives, turns, and slips the pass into Sócrates. The angle is narrow, but Sócrates shoots anyway, near post. Italy won, Brazil won. Now Brazil are going through again. 25th minute, a mistake. Totonero Cerezo plays a square pass across his own defensive third. Rossi reads it, intercepts, drives the shot low. Italy 2, Brazil 1. 2 shots, 2 goals. Brazil now have to respond again. And they do. For long stretches, the ball lives around the Italian area. Zico is grabbed and wrestled by Gentile so much that his shirt is torn. Brazil move, probe, combine, and shoot. Italy defend, counter, and suffer. Then the 68th minute. Junior finds Falcão. Cerezo's run pulls defenders away. Falcão pauses, sets the ball, and hammers it with his left foot. Italy 2, Brazil 2. At this score, Brazil advance. All they have to do is stop. But Brazil 1982 doesn't know how to stop. And maybe that's why we love them. 74th minute. Italy corner. The ball is not properly cleared. It comes back into the 6-yard area. Graziani is there. But Rossi gets there first. Again. He turns it in. Hat-trick. Italy 3, Brazil 2. Now Brazil are out unless they score. Italy even think they have a fourth when Antonioni finishes, but the goal is wrongly disallowed for offside. Then, near the end, the last image. Oscar heads toward goal. Zoff, 40 years old, dives and clamps the ball on the line. Not near the line, on the line. A save of nerve, judgment, and fingers. Final whistle. Italy are through. Brazil are out. But so what? Well, Rossi is reborn. Before this match, his tournament is a problem. After it, he's unstoppable. He scores twice against Poland in the semi-final, and he scores again in the final against West Germany. Italy wins 3-1. Zoff lifts the trophy. Tardelli screams. Rossi wins the Golden Boot and the Golden Ball. The man Italy doubted becomes the face of Italy's third World Cup. That is one of football's greatest redemption arcs. Brazil 1982 becomes immortal by losing. That sounds absurd, but it is true. They don't win the World Cup. They don't even reach the semi-final. Yet they are remembered as one of the most beautiful teams ever assembled. In Brazil, the match becomes the Tragedy of Sarrià, the Tragedy of Sarrià. Sócrates later says they played with happiness, and that Rossi had 3 touches and scored a hat-trick. But he also said that football died that day. But of course it didn't. Maybe naivety did, but for Brazilian football, something shifted. If Brazil 1982 had won, their passing, movement, and midfield triangles might have become the blueprint. Instead, later Brazilian football often learned the opposite lesson: be stronger, faster, more pragmatic, more vertical, less exposed. 1994 wins the World Cup that way. 2002 wins with more flair up front, but still with a 3 centre-back platform and counter-attacking edge. Success validates the lesson, but the argument never ends, because every time Brazil looks less like Brazil, someone remembers 1982. Italy and Brazil keep meeting as mirrors. In 94, they meet again in a World Cup final. 0-0, penalties, Baggio over the bar, and Brazil win the 4th star. In 97, the Tournoi de France gives us a glorious 3-3. In the Confederations Cup, Brazil beat Italy 3-0 in 2009 and 4-2 in 2013. But neither nation has fully lived at its old altitude. Brazil have not won the World Cup since 2002. Italy have not won since 2006. And as of now, has missed 3 straight World Cups, 2018, 2022, and 2026. That is almost impossible to process. Brazil and Italy are not just countries with trophies. They have football languages. Brazil is beauty, invention, and burden. Italy is structure, drama, survival, and tournament intelligence. At Sarrià, those languages met in their purest forms, and Italy won. Not because beauty was false, not because defense was morally superior, but because tournament football is ruthless. A draw was enough for Brazil. They kept playing as if only beauty could protect them. Rossi punished them 3 times. Before we go, 3 things to take away from July 5, 1982. First, Italy 3, Brazil 2 was not a normal upset. Italy had to win. Brazil only needed a draw. That tactical fact shaped every minute. Second, Paolo Rossi's hat-trick turned scandal into resurrection. Totonero had nearly erased him. Sarrià made him inevitable. Third, Brazil 1982 lost the match but won a strange immortality. They became the team people invoke whenever football asks whether beauty needs a trophy to be true. On this day in 1982, Paolo Rossi scored 3, Brazil scored 2, Italy advanced, and the Tragedy of Sarrià became one of the World Cup's greatest matches and one of its most painful arguments. That's all for episode 247 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Lost Guy. I have a favor to ask. Please rate the show 5 stars. You'll be amazed how the algorithm then pushes it to new listeners. Tomorrow, go to July 6, 1960, the first match ever played in a European Championship final tournament. France against Yugoslavia, 9 goals, a 5-4 thriller, and proof that the Euros knew how to introduce themselves. See you then.